Am I the only one who's noticed that it's not only teachers who are depending on one paycheck? A lot of folks out here are depending on one salary, one paycheck. And they're living their lives in fear, most of them, or let's say half of them. And the other half look like, they are so content. And you wonder, is it that they're not trying to balance things? The ones who are so content, you wonder, why are they not thinking outside the box in case anything happens, And the ones who are worried, yet not doing anything about it, you wonder what's stopping them from actually doing what it is that they're supposed to do. Because you need to stop, whoever you are, you need to stop relying on one paycheck. Okay? So in today's video, I'll be talking about how to stop depending on one paycheck. Stay with me. Hi, I'm Miss Maithathi and welcome to my channel. I talk about personal finance, building wealth, investing, budgeting, life in general, especially when it comes to money, without pretending that all of this is easy, because it's not, okay? And it's quite unfortunate that we are not taught in school anything about money. You become an adult and you learn as you go, unless you're fortunate enough to be taught by your parents when you're young. Which is, of course, if you fall under that category, we are talking about a very, very small percentage. Yeah. But I'm glad that this generation of parents we have right now, we are teaching our children, so that they become financially literate, so they can stop making stupid mistakes. Well, if this is your first time here, welcome. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, and turn on notifications bell so that you're notified every time I upload another video. Okay? So now, straight to how do you stop depending on one paycheck? The first thing is you need to start treating that first paycheck as an engine. Okay? Think of it as the engine, not the main plan. Because if you start looking at it as the main plan, that's where you go wrong. So when you treat it as an engine, then it means you need to protect it. How do you protect it? You protect it by building things like skills, building things like relationships, and delivering results. So. And this is because a second income stream, if you go out there and try to build another income stream, it will mean nothing if you end up destroying the first income stream. Okay? It will mean nothing, or it will be useless if it destroys the one that is funding everything. Okay? So the first thing is, and that's why I like talking about changing your mindset. Change how you look at your first job. So look at that paycheck, that salary you get there, as the engine. But you do know, for example, anything in this world that requires an engine, it can't work just as an engine. There's other parts. Let's say, for example, a car. There's an engine, there's the body, there's other parts of that car, okay? Even an aeroplane, a ship, whatever it is. So treat your main paycheck as just an engine. But you also need to protect it, even if we talk about building other sources of income. And this is because most of the times, when you decide to build another income stream, this engine is the one that funds everything, or is the one that is even keeping you afloat, before the second income stream works out for you. So, yes, it needs to be protected. So once you have that encrypted in your mind, then you can start building like an income stream, but you need to build like one. Okay, start with just one additional income stream. And this is because and that's why I talk about sometimes it's good to sit by yourself to make some certain decisions, serious decisions here. Because there's so many great ideas out there. There's something that worked out for your friend, for your relative, for whoever, and it goes well, and you're enticed to do it, but maybe due to unavoidable circumstances, or because everybody has their own, path in life, it might not work for you. So it's best if you sit down alone and decide without being interrupted. You can ask for advice, but the end decision is yours. Okay, so find that one thing that you feel you can do. Not 5, not 10, 1. Sawa. For example, you can learn how to make digital products. Okay, and if you don't know how to do this, I offer one-on-one coaching, and you can I can teach you how to build digital products. Yeah, I can also teach you something like affiliate marketing. There's a lot we can talk about, budgeting, stuff like that. Yeah, the link is in the description. Okay, so you can decide to do something like start digital, selling digital products. You can do affiliate marketing. You can do something like freelance services, coaching. You can also make templates or printables. All these are things that you can do. So you figure out if you want to go digital way, the digital way, or the non-digital way. Okay, it depends also on your circumstances, things like time, access to things like internet or gadgets, your mindset. A lot of things matter. If you're good at something, you can also do consulting. Okay, the goal here is to prove that money can come from some other place other than your employer. Okay, your employer is not the only person who can give you money. If you're smart and you know how to kujituma, you'll realize in this life there's so many other ways you can get money apart from being employed. Okay, that should be the main goal for starting or adding another income stream. Now, another thing you need to keep in mind is whatever it is that you're trying to build or you're trying to start to generate you more income, try very much to build an asset, not more work. And I say this because if you don't build an asset and you build another income stream but it requires you to work more, you'll burn out. Utachoka, because you cannot give several hours to your main job, okay? And then instead of going home to rest, you're going now to give more hours to your second income stream that you've built. It doesn't make any sense. When will you rest? At the end of the day, you'll be too exhausted for both. Okay? You'll burn out. So think of it like this. A second job creates a boss, not a servant. So, most people out here are creating another source of income or another business which makes them a servant, not a boss. There's a difference. Huh? For example, when you build digital products, these are assets. This is something you build once and you can sell forever if it's good enough. Okay? So that makes you a boss. But there's someone else who's going to maybe do something like farming. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a good thing as a main source of income. But as a side income, and maybe you're the one doing most of the manual labor, even if it's, let's say it's a small farm, my friend, you'll end up being exhausted. Okay? Or Maybe let's say you have a bike. During the day, you are employed somewhere else. After work, you go and do other things with your bike. You employ yourself. You're transporting passengers or goods from one place to another. Eventually, you're going to be exhausted, whether you choose to see it or not. Because at the end of the day, you're just one person, okay? And when you're doing that, you're being a servant. You're not being you. You're not relaxed. You're not a boss. You're still working. Double manual labor. Think about it. So, build an asset. An asset, like digital asset, are things like YouTube channels, yeah? Are things like those people you see making TikTok videos and are very consistent about that. Things like digital products, as I said, affiliate links, email lists, yeah? And if you want to build your own email list, use my affiliate link. It's in the description below. So email lists, Pinterest content. Okay, these are assets, online assets I'm talking about, okay? These are things that keep working once you've done the work once. Okay? And that's why you'll go to YouTube and you'll watch someone's video that they made 2 years ago. That's an asset for them, because the moment you click on that video and watch it, it's generating income for them, one way or another. Okay? Pinterest pins the same. You post a pin today and it can still make you money 5 years down the line. As long as it can solve a problem at that point in time, people are going to click it. Okay? People are going to see you. People are going to use it. So, you do that. And then you create a financial runway of 3 to 6 months of expenses. We normally call it like an emergency fund. Okay? Everything in life has a different name. So don't get confused when I say a financial runway is the same as you building like an emergency fund for 3 to 6 months, of which it doesn't mean once imefika 6 months you stop. You can keep building for as long as you can. And I say this because that money that you put aside, it can be swept off by just one incident. Don't do it for up to 3 months and then you stop. You keep continuing. Make it a habit. Something you start now and you keep doing for a very long time, okay? So you do this by saving aggressively. Bila huruma. You have to be merciless. And this is because opportunities look different when you're not desperate. When desperation is not in the room, opportunities will start looking different for you. Your behavior, your thinking, everything about you changes because you're not coming from a desperate angle. Okay? And problem is, people can tell when you're desperate. They can tell. You can try to mask it, but people are not dumb out here. They can tell. Smart people though, not everybody. Okay. Those people who just can't see beneath anything. Okay? So save. Put money aside. And this is because, let's be honest, money gives you options. The happiest people, they say money can't buy happiness, but I somehow agree. And sometimes I agree, sometimes I disagree. Okay? The good thing is, most of the things we want in life can be acquired when you have money. Money will give you options. Okay? So a certain percentage of happiness, let's say I want a certain type of car because I feel like that's my car. That's what I want. I've been dreaming of this car. Once I get that car, I'll feel content. I'll be happy one way or another, right? But for me to afford that car, I need to have money. Money will give me that option. Okay? So these are some of the reasons why you're told to put money aside, because money gives you options. Okay? You get to a point where you're spoiled for choice. You're not forced to be in a certain situation because you're desperate. And when you have options, then it means you have power, because You have power to say no. You can say no to this because there's several options. But when you don't have options, whatever it is you get is what you're stuck with. So get your money in order, okay? Save aggressively. Put money aside. And that's why you see people who have money or who have been putting money aside, you'd think they have pride, but it's not pride. Okay? It's called planning yourself financially. It might come off as you being you having pride because you can say no, or you can do away with some things, or you can decide not to entertain some things, but it's because this is someone who created a financial runway for themselves. So you do that also. Okay? So you stop becoming desperate. Sawa. Some of these things in life, you have the key. Nobody else has that key for you. Because as much as I always say, you can have that paycheck, that one job that pays you so well. But if you're not smart enough to start another, do something on the side that can bring you money in case this salary stops, this paycheck stops, you'll go back to being desperate. And we've seen people go back to that situation. It doesn't happen to a specific type of person. It can happen to anyone. Okay? So you do that. And while you're doing all those things that I've mentioned, you need to audit your dependency with these 3 warning signs. 1, time. Ask yourself something like, if you missed work for 30 good days, would your money still arrive? These questions, it's very, very important that you ask them. They will help you decide a way forward. Number 2, distance. If I traveled for a month, or if you traveled for a full month, would income continue or would it stop? 3, silence. This even applies to people in business. So silence, you ask yourself, if I stop posting today, if I don't post anything today, like those people who used to post on TikTok, on social media platforms, if I stop posting today, would any system keep producing sales or keep making money for me? Those are questions you need to ask. And let me tell you, if all you do is work, you're not a boss anywhere, as I mentioned, you lose money. The moment you don't give it time, the moment you give it distance, and the moment you're silent, you lose everything. You'll not make any sale. And that's why I said in the beginning, make sure where you're getting your main paycheck, that's where you're a worker. Okay? But if you decide to build another income stream, make sure you are the boss. That way, if you ever take time out, you're still making money. If you ever decide to travel, you're still making money. If you ever decide to go quiet, you're silent, you're still making money. That's the same as the people who build apartments. They do it once and it keeps making money for them. Whether they decide to travel, rent will be paid. Whether they decide to be quiet, as long as kuna caretaker, money will still come in. Okay? But now, this one's more of the examples I've given you are more of digital income streams. Okay? So, audit your dependency so that you know where you stand. And I keep telling you these things because people wonder why they have built another source of income, but they're always burning out, and in case something happens to them, no money is coming in. It's because your main source of income is active. Your side hustle or your second income stream is also active. So if you keep entertaining active kind of work, that always needs your presence, the moment you get sick or something happens, you stop making money. And that's why we keep insisting on you building passive sources of income. Make sure from now on, whatever it is that you're building, whatever it is that you decide to do, you are the boss. And I'm not talking at you about you go and open a business in Nairobi, because this is different. This is an example. I'm not talking about you go open a business in Nairobi and you employ someone. These people can walk out on you. When they walk out on you, you have to leave your active work, and now you have to go and open your business before you find someone else who's reliable. So those are still two active ways of making income. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about creating income where you are not relying on people who can let you down. And you're not relying on yourself either, because let's face it, we are humans. Nobody knows. You don't know how you'll wake up tomorrow. You might wake up sick. You might wake up, something has happened, family issues, I don't know, this and that. A lot of shenanigans happen, things that are not always under our control. You see in Kenya, when let's say you lose a family member and there's a burial and you're in the city but home is in the rural up country, and you have to be at home for a certain amount of time. So if your second source of income and your first source of income, they need your presence, your time, you see now, it means you have to travel back home. You have to ask for certain days to be absent. You're losing money. Okay? So think about that. I hope I'm making sense. Look out for those warning signs. Okay? Time, distance, silence. Now, after I've done that, automate everything. Most especially your savings before you feel ready. Don't ever wait I'll wait maybe in 6 months, that's when I feel I'll be ready to start saving. No, do it now. Do it now. Okay? Stop being so sure that in 3 months' time, that's when you'll be okay. You'll also have problems in 3 months' time. It might not be the same problem you're facing now. It might be a totally different problem. And if you keep postponing, you'll never start. You'll never start. The same way you're giving yourself an excuse right now is the same way you'll give yourself an excuse then for not saving. So automate your savings and put away something like 10 to 20% of each paycheck into a separate account. And my dear, start before it feels comfortable, because it will never feel comfortable. If you're waiting for that time until you feel this is the time, it will never come. That time will never come. So start now and your future will thank you. Now, test a 30-day Paycheck Lite simulation. You can do this by living on something like 70% of your normal income. This might even mean you can move to a smaller house. Let's say you live in a 3-bedroom apartment. You can move to a 2-bedroom, especially if there's one room that is empty, that is not being used. You can downgrade a little. Sort of try and picture the kind of a life you would live after retirement. You wouldn't need much, right? And let me tell you a secret about this life. The more you get older, the more you realize you don't want all these things that come with life. You want a simple life. Because you're getting older, you're getting tired, and you don't want all this burden on your shoulders. So I would try and simulate that. Try and live that kind of life for like 2 to 3 years and see. That means downgrading. You can go up to instead of living the whole 100% you're living now, go to 70%. You can also downgrade your car. See what happens. And that's why you see all the people out here, they're driving very simple cars. There's a reason to that. So I would try it. Downgrade. Simulate that kind of life. See what happens. See how you feel. See, especially watch your finances. Once you do that, put that difference, because you'll see a very huge difference, especially financially. You'll have a lot of cash lying around. Yeah. And when you get that money, now it's the one that you'll put in your runway fund, your emergency account, your emergency fund. But only if you decide to downgrade kidogo. A lot of people don't want to downgrade. They want to live life large. You'll pay for it eventually. Okay. You'll pay for it. That's just a sad thing about life. That's all. And the only way you'll expose leaks is if you downgrade your life a little. You'll end up exposing spending leaks while you still have the main paycheck. Don't do these things when at you're downgrading when life hits you, when you're sacked, when they lay you off from work, when you're fired. That's when you're downgrading. That's when you're moving from a big house to a small house. No, do it while still receiving your paycheck. You know, people tend to do the opposite. You get a small raise. Hey, now you move from your 2-bedroom apartment, you've gone to a 3-bedroom apartment. You moved from a normal, nice place, you've gone to a bit more sophisticated area. Don't you know that sophistication comes at a price? That's why you'll never have anything for your emergency fund. That's why you'll never have anything, any money to put aside into your savings. That's why you'll never invest. Because you're always giving your money to other people. So downgrade kiasi. If you have a car that is a guzzler, it consumes fuel like nobody's business, you can always downgrade that car. And then that money you use to buy fuel every time, you can put it aside in your runway fund. That's how. Let me tell you, you see, a simple life. There's nothing good in this life like living a simple life. Just sit down, know what you want. And the good thing is, nowadays, there's nice cars, there's nice small cars. There's nice small apartments. Nowadays, literally, there's something for you. Just, you need to speak it out, from your mind. Bring it out, make it alive. I assure you, whatever it is that you think is not available will be made available. People are out here in the business of making things happen for you. Okay? So downgrade. And the difference, put it in your runway fund. Also, don't forget to track your net worth. Not just your monthly income, because people just track their, monthly income and forget to track their net worth. I don't know, maybe for fear of seeing in reality what their net worth really is. Growing assets. When you start growing assets, that's the only way you'll stop being too dependent on anything or anyone. By growing assets. Okay? Dependence and desperation fades. So this is me telling you, a high paycheck, it doesn't matter how much you're being paid. A high paycheck with zero assets is still a trap. I don't care how you look at it. Hata ulipe pesa ngapi, even if they're paying you how much, I don't care. If you don't have assets, you're still in a trap. Okay? You're trapping yourself. The fact that you don't want to change how you see things is you trapping yourself. Okay? And that's why I say it starts from the mind. Change how you think. Accept the fact that you need assets to grow. And that's why someone and having a small salary, but they have assets, is better and is more, they have more pride than someone who only has a paycheck and has no assets. They'll never be the same. Okay? And that's why you'll see these people, they say, you'll hear a farmer who rides a bike, a boda, you know, and they're doing farming, they have chicken, they have cows, they're doing all those things, yeah? They're not even buying their own food, they farm their own food. Huh? Is doing way better. And they're not even paying rent. They live in a small, they built their own small house. So they're not even paying rent. And during maybe rush hours, maybe they're doing part-time work with their bikes. This person is way better than an individual living in the city, driving a big car that consumes a lot of fuel. This car is only for personal use, so there's no ROI. This person lives in a rented apartment, full serviced, very expensive. This person has no assets, is only employed, so most of their money goes to food, rent, fuel, upkeep, so at the end of the day they have nothing left. But when you look outwardly, they look like they're doing better, but they're not. The farmer, the guy with the bike who's farming in the rural areas, is doing far much better. But you know what they'll try and sell to you? Because I want to make money from you, I'll sell you this urban picture. I will not sell you that upcountry kind of lifestyle. But at the end of the day, the upcountry guy is the one who's winning, because they have assets, they have other things they're doing, and they think outside the box. Okay? You can tell someone who's open-minded by the things they do. And you can tell someone who's closed-minded also. So you can even find the person in the rural areas or upcountry, maybe the reason why they don't have digital assets is access to internet. But in reality, this is someone who has shown you is open-minded. They're willing to do something extra. They're willing to save more. They're willing to live a certain kind of life to put more money aside. Even if I was to teach someone anything, I would go, even for free, I would go for this person who's open-minded. Because when you look at them and you talk to them, these are people who they can listen to you. They're ready to receive information. But most of these people who live in the urban areas, you find them driving a small fancy car, living in a fancy apartment, having that one paycheck, thinking they've made it. They live a closed-minded life. Now they think they know everything. So you can't tell them nothing. You see? That's how you tell the difference. Huh? But the good thing is, nowadays people are being woke. That's why you're told, stay woke. Don't be deceived. Don't be deceived by your eyes. Okay? We look beyond what, the image that is being portrayed in front of us. Okay? Be beyond that fancy apartment. Be beyond that fancy car. And that's why I said a high paycheck with zero assets is still a trap. Okay? Now, what I can tell you is, don't wait for motivation. Don't sit there and wait until for that time you'll feel motivated. That time might never come. Or you'll feel motivated, but not for that. Maybe for something totally different. So what do? Start small, start broken. Start now. Okay? Stop waiting for that perfect time. I know most of the things that I can say have made a difference in my life, I did them when I was most uncomfortable, when I was feeling broken. I was just, I can't do this, but I'll just push myself to do it. Some of the investments I have, before they came to, I was living like a pauper. Because I had to choose. And I knew if I didn't do that, I would continue living the rest of my life the way I used to before. Don't wait for the right time, it will never come. And by the time you think it has come, it will be too late. And you won't be able to turn back the hands of time. So all you'll have to blame is yourself. So start now. Just remember, the goal is not to become a millionaire by Friday or to become a billionaire by the end of the year. That's not the goal. The goal here is, as I said, is to prove that money can come from somewhere else other than your employer. The goal is reaching a point where a bad month doesn't destroy everything you've built or you've worked for. And that's what happens when you're employed, when you're relying on one salary. One thing happens and it destroys your life completely. You get sick and now they have to lay you off. Now you can no longer afford your car. You can no longer afford your apartment. You have to move back home and your lifestyle changes completely. Stay woke. Before I wrap up, always remember your why. Okay? Remember the real why. Like for me, I do these things because I want to ensure I can afford my daughter's medication. Yeah? And that she's always cared for. That she's always covered. Whether I'm doing okay or I'm not doing okay. Whether I'm present or I'm not present. But for you, find your version, because we can't be the same. Whatever I'm going through, whatever is pushing me, is not the same thing that is pushing you. So find your version of things, okay? Because that's the only thing that makes multiple income streams matter. So stop depending on one source of income. Stop it. It's dangerous. You want to live your life safe, not always tense. And the only way you can do this is find a way you can be a boss. And that's the good thing about life now, yeah? Life, a few years ago, for you to be a boss, you'd have to have a lot of money and have apartments and have lots of cows. You have to have like several acres of land and stuff like that. But now you can be your own boss, owning digital products. Okay? And that's why people now are building apps, people are building SaaS products, people are doing affiliate marketing, drop shipping. Now I've heard there's also AI drop shipping. People are doing these digital ways of, people are building assets digitally. And as long as you have a laptop, a phone, a gadget, and there's the internet, you can do it too. You can be your own boss, but change the way you think, change your mindset. Start looking at things outside the box. Think beyond what you have right now. Think beyond that paycheck that you have right now. That's the only way you can help yourself. Okay? Well, that's it for us today. I surely hope this helps someone. Yeah. Well, if you need one-on-one coaching, the link is in the description. If you want to know how to build digital products, you can always find me. If you want to know how to make templates, you can always find me. If you want to talk about budgeting, investing, stuff like that, you can always book an appointment. Well, that's it for us today. I'm Miss Mwithathi, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.